Hello. This book is called On Christmas Eve. There aren't any words, so we'll just look at all the pictures. There's a beautiful Christmas stocking. Okay, the little girl is going to bed. And she has her stocking at the end of her bed, right there. And she puts a list on it of things she wants from Santa. And then she crawls into bed, and her mommy hugs her, and her daddy hugs and kisses her. And then she's laying there, and suddenly she's fast asleep. And hiding behind a curtain is a fairy. And the fairy comes over, and it lands next to her list. And she takes it up, and she's reading it. She folds it, and she puts it in the front of her waistband. And then she flies downstairs, and she goes over to the Christmas tree. And she points her star up at the tree, and all of the candles light up. And she looks at them and the presents, and she goes over to the dish where there's a key to get into the house. And she flies over to the door, and she opens it up, and look at what's down here. A whole bunch of fairies. Look at all of them. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 fairies. And it looks like they're all going to go into the house. Oh, and they fly over to the tree, and they each grab a candle. And then they go back out the door. What do you think they're doing with their candles? Let's see. Oh, look at it. They're on the road. And they're lighting up the road. What do you think they're lighting up the road for? I don't know. She's looking and she's looking and she's looking. Oh, and she sees. What do you think she sees? Let's see. Let's find out. They're looking for Santa because it's snowing and he can't see very well. They went and made a landing area for him so he could see where to land. He's looking, looking, looking. Oh, and then he's pointing down because he sees it. And look at the reindeer heading right for it. And he pulls back so they will stop. And so he can land right on that runway. And he gets it stopped, and he comes out, and he's greeting all the fairies. And he picks up the first fairy and sets her up on top of the sleigh. And she takes out the note that said what the little girl wants, and she reads it to him. So he pulls back the canvas, and all the presents are underneath the canvas, so they won't get wet from the snow. He pulls out the first thing. That's a big present. What do you think that is? Can you tell what it looks like? Yeah, it looks like a playhouse. And then she asked for a flute, so he took the flute out. And then he's got other presents that are wrapped, and she's checking off the list. And he closes up his bag that he's going to take all the presents into the house. And the fairy folds up the wish list. She grabs her candle, and she leads Santa in. And then all the fairies line up on the steps so they don't wake anybody, but they have some light so he can get up there. And he goes into the little girl's room, and he finds the stocking. Oh, and here are the little fairies waiting. So Santa starts taking things out. He puts them into the bag, but uh-oh, he dropped one of the presents. Oh no, it's going to wake the little girl. Made a noise. There she is. And she started to wake up because she heard a sound of something falling. And the fairy goes, uh-oh. And so Santa hides by the bed. And he takes the fairy and they both hide over by the bed. And she's starting to get up and she's crawling over to the end of the bed. Oh no, she's going to see Santa. What's going to happen? You think? Oh, the fairy sneaks around and she sprinkles fairy dust on her and she falls back asleep. Oh, phew, that was close. So Santa picks her up and he carries her back to bed and he covers her up so she's nice and warm. Then Santa sits at the edge of the bed and he puts the rest of the presents into her stocking, except for the very big one because that won't fit. And then he walks back down the stairs with the fairies helping him guide him down there so he can see. And then they all put their candles back onto the tree and he walks out the door and he waves and all the fairies wave to the first fairy. And then she shuts the door and she locks the door and she puts the key back on the plate and she goes back upstairs. And then the fairy sprinkled some more dust and she woke up and she's so happy. She has a smile on her face because she knows Santa came. So she opens up her first present and it's a big playhouse. And then she pulls out all the presents out of the bag and she looks at them. The first one is the flute. And then what's the second one? Oh, a mask, a bear mask. Oh, and the third one is candy. Num. And the last is a little puppy dog. And she kisses it. She's so happy. She had so many good things. And she walks downstairs and she looks out the window. If you can see right here, the fairy is flying over to the tree right there. There's a little door. And that's where the fairy goes because that's where she lives. And there's a little window and she goes into the door and she's so tired. She sits down and has some tea. And the fire's burning in the fireplace. And her job is done.